So I think my biggest mistake as a DC Comics scaler would definitely be that I assume way too often that other people that I'm talking to actually read the content that I'm even discussing in the first place. It's a serious problem sometimes I run into where I'm just like way too trustworthy with other people, and I assume automatically that yeah, you did read this and you're just lying about it, or you are just downplaying it on purpose. But then there's times where I just completely forget that maybe they actually just didn't read it and they're being manipulated by some other person or a wiki or some other fan page where they just blindly trust that and think that that is actually what the comic book said. We could have avoided the entire Perpetua is fake war years and years ago, because the comics did actually explain that Darkseid did in fact believe Perpetua into existence and use the hyper adapter to do so. Now, if you want to read more about that, all you have to do is go grab some copies of Justice League Odyssey, specifically issues 4 through roughly 8 or 9, I believe. So 4 through 8, maybe even the 9th issue. And in these issues, you'll find that Darkseid says that he has to manifest this object into existence, but the problem here is Darkseid already activated the hyper adapter. So the device that he's manifesting is not the adapter or the other box in this comic. It's Perpetua. It's the device that will initiate the content revision of the mythology of the current historical account. The device that he has to manifest is Perpetua. And in the exact same series of comics, just, a couple scans later, Darkseid says he is the only one to believe in this mythology about Perpetua. There were stories, but nobody actually believed it. It was only Darkseid who believed the story of Perpetua. And later he, on the same, roughly the same page, roughly one page later, he says that he had already enacted his plan and he prepared his ghost sector using the power of the source to protect it when the source wall would break, because everything else in creation was going to break. New Genesis and Apocalypse were vaporized by the source wall breaking when Perpetua escaped. But his ghost sector was fine, and he was preparing for this for eons and eons. So the point here is that once that happens, he explains that his plan has been enacted and that one of the potential timeline futures, the dark one of potential futures coming, is about this looming darkness. And then the heroes and Darkseid are kind of explaining what they're seeing, and you can see Perpetua's big face above all of them, and they speculate, well, who is this? What could this possibly be? So this is the potential future that that Darkseid manifested into existence. So I'm sorry, the comics did explain that Darkseid did in fact use the hyper adapter to manifest Perpetua into existence, and he was the only one who believed in her story. He manifested that story into a reality, and it became the new history of this localized area of the DCU. This isn't even speculation. This is the comic book telling you this. When I'm speaking these words and showing these pictures, this is not my reinterpretation or my opinion on what happened. This is what the comic book said. This is Darkseid saying that he manifested Perpetua into existence, and he's the only one who believed her story. And to do this, he used the power of the hyper adapter, which in this case is called the other box. And he manifested Perpetua into existence, and this became the new future, the new history of creation, using creation mythology to revise the entire multiverse.